After a heartbreaking end to a promising season that ended in the AFC Championship game to the eventual two-time Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, the Ravens will do it one more again as the 2024 NFL season Ravens flock is upon us. A little bit over 24 hours away from kickoff, yes, Thursday night, and we're feeling all right on the Flex Zone podcast, only place giving you sports how you want to when you need it. Go ahead and sack that subscribe button, stick that like button, and go ahead and bulldoze that bell. Sound off in the comment section. Give me your prediction for the game on Thursday. Who wins? Who's a breakout player? Give me your score, keys to the game, anything you're looking forward to, as well as we get ready for kickoff to the NFL season and the Baltimore Ravens season right here on the Flex Zone podcast. And you know we do previews for each and every game. You already know the vibes. If you haven't already, check out the official season preview where I broke down the entire team, the entire depth chart, the schedule, my forecasting of player projections, risers, fallers, breakout players, rookies that could be household names, Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh, Todd Monken, Zach Orr, his first season. How does the season line up, and does it end back in New Orleans with another Super Bowl like it did in 2012? But let's get to Thursday's game. I wanted to break down this game, break down this preview, and give you all the in-depth things I'm looking forward to as well. We know how last season ended. We've talked ad nauseum pretty much throughout the season about who, what, why, when, and where of what exactly happened in January when it comes to the Ravens and the Chiefs. Ravens lost 17-10. Really couldn't get much going offensively. 3 turnovers, some penalties. Really, in a sense, to a degree, like we've seen with a lot of Ravens losses throughout the year, beating themselves yet again. New season, nothing we can do will ever replace what happened on that dreadful Sunday afternoon. And I think that we have to move forward. If the Ravens win this game 50-0, it will not undo what has been done in the postseason. And I think what we have to realize is this team, the Baltimore Ravens, until they can beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, it really doesn't matter. And honestly, in my opinion, this season, it's not about what they do in September, October, November, or even December. It's not about how many accolades, how many Pro Bowlers, how many All Pros, how many miraculous Superman, Sports Center, TikTok worthy plays Lamar Jackson or anybody on this team makes. It's not about leading the league in sacks. It's not about having highlight reel catches by Isaiah Likely or having Derrick Henry run over 3 or 4 guys looking like Beast Mode 2.0. It's not about any of that. It's not about posing with chains and celebrating when you get interceptions and turnovers and things of that nature. It's about winning in January and inevitably getting back to and winning the 3rd Super Bowl for this franchise. We know the scrutiny Lamar Jackson has been under. Until he gets it done, it will continue to be there. John Harbaugh as well, looking for another Super Bowl that could put him in rarefied air as a potential Hall of Famer. This will be a good measuring stick game. I'm not going to lie, because we don't really know what the Ravens are. We haven't seen any of the starters really play like that on offense for obvious reasons. We haven't seen a lot of what this team is going to bring to the table, as most teams don't show their hand in the preseason. And we really do not know really what to expect from this offensive line, which is really the question that I have going into the season, especially offensively and defensively as well. The pass rush, where is that going to come from? But I think one thing we can say, in September and October, Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh do a lot of their best work. They have a very exemplary record. They win a lot of games. And Lamar Jackson, even in September, has been player of the month, has had great starts to seasons. But unfortunately, injuries and things of that nature, as we know, do derail them. As I like to always do with these each week, the injury report. Thank God going into week 1. Thank God going into this game that we have on Thursday afternoon. The Baltimore Ravens do not have a lot of injuries. And I just realized I don't even have any lights on for you guys. There we go. Put the lights on for you. Rasheen Ali and Adisa Isaac are the only 2 names right now on the injury report for the Ravens. 2 guys. You got to love to see that. Rasheen Ali and Adisa Isaac, 2 rookies. Hopefully, at some point, we do get something from at least Adisa Isaac, but it seems like he's been battling that hamstring all off season. Will it ever get back to right? Will it ever get back to where he can contribute? I don't know. Maybe later in the season, but we shall see. But the Chiefs, they have Marquise Brown, who probably won't play. They have Chris Jones on there, Joshua Williams, Nick Bolton, Wanya Morris, Derek Nandi, Joe Thuney, James Winchester. Looks like Chris Jones obviously is going to play. Joe Thuney looks like he's going to play as well. So the Chiefs not really missing a bunch of players, but they do have a longer injury report than do the Ravens, surprisingly. But let's get to the keys to the game. I do want to get to the keys to the game. These teams know each other very well. I think obviously two different teams, as I mentioned from that game in January, but you still have the tribal chief Patrick Mahomes. You still got one of the greatest coaches of all time in Andy Reid. It's going to be intriguing to see what exactly does happen on Thursday night. We know Andy Reid is great at making adjustments, great at throwing new things that you haven't seen at teams, especially with the rookie defensive coordinator calling plays for the first time. What exactly does happen with the Ravens on Thursday night? My first key to the game is no turnovers. I mentioned it in the game in the AFC Championship game. They had 3 turnovers. You beat yourself. And one thing you cannot do against the Chiefs is beat yourself. They're already good enough to beat you. They already have Patrick Mahomes, the tribal chief. You can't give them easy opportunities to beat you even more. I do think that no turnovers will go a long way on offense to trying to get the win here. Secondly, wide receivers and tight ends need to win against man coverage. We know Trent McDuffie is an all-pro. He's a pro bowler. He is like that. He's about to get paid after the season, I think, and well deserved. They traded. They traded Snead. They traded Snead, Willie Snead last year, who was another Pro Bowler. They traded him to the Titans. He's no longer there. So that leaves an opportunity for the second and third corners of the Chiefs to be taken advantage of. We've heard about, looks like on the right side is going to be Joshua Williams, who we heard hasn't been doing that well. He is really, I think, hopefully, in my opinion, a guy we could take advantage of. He's a rookie, and I think really Bateman, Aguilar, some of those guys can really hopefully take advantage of that matchup. Andrews, likely. Let's get them out of space. Let's utilize them well. Let's get them some opportunities to make some plays. So I think if the wide receivers and tight ends can win against man coverage and win against the other corners, not named McDuffie, because McDuffie's probably going to be on flowers, it would be good. Thirdly, we know about the running game. We know they only ran the ball 6 times. You sign Derrick Henry, you're going to get more than 6 carries. He can get 6 carries in the first quarter. I think that has to happen. I think it's inevitable. I think Derrick Henry has to get at least 20, up around 20 if possible. And I think the Ravens, with Lamar Jackson, with Derrick Henry, if they can rush for over 150 yards, that will help them go a long way. And then lastly, I have them winning time of possession. If you look at the game in January, the Chiefs won time of possession 37-30 to 22-30. Now, that's something the Ravens would like to flip flop. They would like to limit Patrick Mahomes' opportunities offensively. They would like to limit his possessions. They would like to keep him off the field and churn the clock if they can. And I think winning time of possession is very, very important. I think more importantly than anything, if they can win time of possession and not turn the ball over, as well as run the ball for over 150 yards, I do like their chances. Now, my last offensive key that I didn't forget, Chris Jones and George Karlaftis, double-digit sack guys. Chris Jones, one of the best players in all the league at his position, especially now with Aaron Donald retired. I think that if you can contain them, Linderbaum, Stanley, Voorhees, Faalele, Makari, if you see Rosengarten, we can't let Karlaftis, we can't let Chris Jones dominate this game. We cannot let them get 2 and 3 sacks. We cannot let them force fumbles. We cannot let them set the edge against the run. We have to contain them by any means necessary, keeping Patrick Ricard in, chipping with Andrews, or likely an extra running back, maybe Justice Hillen more to block, maybe move Lamar outside the pocket a little more, allow him to use his speed and athleticism. But if we let Chris Jones and Karlaftis dominate this game, not only in the pass game, but in the running game as well, it could be a tough day for this team. I think the offensive line is a work in progress. In 5, 6 weeks, could it be completely different? And could they be a little bit better? Yes. But with the lack of playtime together, the lack of experience on the stage, I just think it's going to be tough for them early on. Now they could get better as the game goes, but I really think it's going to be a tough ask for them against these two guys, in my opinion. But the Chiefs were second in the league last year in sacks. The Ravens were number one, and they were number one in sack rate. So they get pressure. Steve Spagnuolo is fantastic, one of the best defensive coordinators of all time. He draws up pressures and schemes up ways to get pressure on opposing offenses as good as anybody. Defensively, you got to get off the field on third down. That's my first one. Can't let Patrick Mahomes extend drives. Got to keep him in the pocket. Get off the field on third down. Secondly, Travis Kelce had 11 catches last game, over 100 yards. I think Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Williams is healthy. Some of the other defensive secondary guys that they have, Trent Simpson, we know about Roquan. Keep Kelce if you can under 75 yards. Because if you can contain Kelce, you can most likely contain the Chiefs. We know no Hollywood Brown. We know Xavier Worthy, Rasheed Rice, who is playing. They can beat you over the top with their speed. I do think the Chiefs, who were ninth in offense last year, will be a lot more explosive, a lot more dynamic offensively, much like we've seen in the Tyreek Hill years, where they throw the ball deeper down the field, more vertically. I'm making Worthy beat me, a rookie. I'm not letting him beat me deep, but if he can go out there and catch 7, 8 balls for 100, 120 yards, you tip your cap and you shake his hand. You let Rasheed Rice, if he's going to catch 6 or 7 passes for 90 to 100 yards, you shake his hand. Because I don't think Rice, I don't think Worthy, I don't think they're going to consistently be able to beat Marlon, Brandon Stevens, Wiggins, whomever else you want to put out there, or Darius Washington. I think they have a really, really strong secondary. Jalen Armour Davis. They're going to have a tough time, I think, winning one-on-one against our secondary and our safeties as well. But I think Kelsey is the difference maker. And I think if you can keep him under 75 yards, that would go a long way. Thirdly, force a turnover. They didn't get any in the game against them last year. I think a turnover is very, very vital, very, very crucial, whether it's a forced fumble, whether that's Owe doing his thing, getting another strip sack, an interception by someone. You got to get a turnover, a block kick, something. Punt. My next one. Keep Chiefs offense under 20 points. Last season's game was ugly. Bold and shoe ugly, 17-10. Ravens defense didn't give up anything in the second half. I think the first team, in my opinion, in this game, and with a lot of these week one games, I think it will be some ugly, grinded out, low scoring games, 17-14, 20-17, 24-20 type of games. And I really think that if they can keep the Chiefs to that 17 to 20 point range, they have a really, really good shot to win the game. Next is they got to dominate the Chiefs offensive line. They're starting a rookie at left tackle. We know Jawan James is there. He was there, part of the Super Bowl team on the right side, but you got to dominate. You got to dominate this left side of the line. Owe, Travis Jones, Matabike, Van Noy, whomever it is. Have Worthy on the punt return, and they have McCole Hardman. He's back. Can't forget him. He caught the winning touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. He is going to be the kick returner. So a lot of speed there with the Chiefs. They got Juju back. They got McCole Hardman. They got Xavier Worthy. They got Rasheed Rice. We know about Travis Kelce, Marquise Brown. Hollywood Brown will be back at some point this season. So they have weapons and they have speed as well. And then no missed field goals. I think every point is going to be crucial, as I mentioned in this game. Justin Tucker, do your thing. From 40 on in, he's pretty automatic. I think it's very, very important, very, very imperative to make sure that we not miss any kicks and give away any point opportunities that we can to score the football. So again, starting with the offense, no turnovers. Don't let Chris Jones and George Karlaftis dominate the line of scrimmage. Wide receivers and tight ends win against man coverage, rush for over 150 yards, and win time of possession. Defensively, get off the field on third down. Secondly, Travis Kelce under 75 yards. Third, force a turnover. Fourth, keep Chiefs under 20 points. And fifth, dominate their offensive line, especially the left side. Special teams, no block, no big returns, no missed field goals, and pin them deep on punts. Prediction time, as I mentioned, I think the first team to 20 wins this game. Unfortunately, I do think the Ravens will have some difficulties protecting Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar will probably have a decent day. I could see him maybe running for 75, 85, 90 yards, throwing for another 150 to 200. I think he will do his thing. I think he'll play well. I think he'll do enough. But I just think the offensive line will just, in the end, bite him in the butt where he won't be able to really get into a rhythm as the game goes on. I think the Chiefs do just enough offensively to eke out a win. It would not shock me if the Ravens won this game. Week 1 is always unpredictable. I think the Ravens are very, very confident coming into this game. I think this is the best time to get the Chiefs. We saw it a few years back with the Lions, or last year with the Lions when they defeated them on opening night. It can be done, and the Ravens have a formula to do it. But I just think the Chiefs are going to try to win that third straight Super Bowl. They should be the favorites to do so, especially in the AFC. And I think they eke out a 20-17 victory over the Ravens in week 1. I know I picked against the Ravens, but I think the Chiefs do win. They bring down the banner. They get the crowd hype at Arrowhead, G-High Field, GEHA. I think Mahomes does just enough to outlast Jackson again, and they get a late Harrison Butker field goal to win 20-17, starting the season and starting their title defense of their back-to-back Super Bowl championships, 1-0. But what say you, Flex Zone family? What say you, Ravens flock? What say you, football fans? What are you looking forward to in week 1? Who do you have winning these games? Who do you have possibly as the eventual AFC champion? Who possibly takes it from the Chiefs, if anyone? And really, 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 how do you see this playing out? And how do you see the Ravens doing this season? Like I said, I did do a preview for them, and I do think that they are a playoff team, and I do think that they have a shot to get back to the Super Bowl. And I think it's very, very imperative that we not get too caught up in week 1. Whether they win or lose, we have to remember the end goal in mind, and that is going to be a Super Bowl back in New Orleans. Real quick, week 1, I do want to give you my real quick week 1 picks, because I do want to kind of help you guys out. With your pick, cool. We'll see how I do, but then week 1 on the interesting. I'm going with the Chiefs over the Ravens. Real quick, and I'll start to do this and tie it into my previews each week. I'll do my weekly picks, but I'm going with the Chiefs over the Ravens. Friday night in Brazil, I'm going with the Packers over the Eagles. I'm going with the Steelers over the Falcons. I'm going with the Bills over the Cardinals, the Bears over the Titans, the Bengals over the Patriots, the Colts over the Texans, the Dolphins over the Jaguars, the Saints over the Panthers, the Giants, one of my upset picks for the week, over the Vikings, the Chargers over the Raiders, the Seahawks over the Broncos, the Cowboys over the Browns, Commanders over the Buccaneers, and I'm going with the Lions over the Rams. A lot of home teams I picked, but I'm going with those. And then on Monday night, I'm going with the Jets. I think the Jets are a playoff team. I think the Jets do make it to the playoffs, and I think the Jets beat the 49ers. I think the 49ers get off to a little bit of a slow start, but at the end of the season, will be one of the strongest teams left remaining. But I'm going with the Jets on Monday night over the 49ers. So those are my week 1 picks. Let me know your picks down below in the comment section. We'll recap week 1 when I do this again, see how I did, see where I went right, where I went wrong, and what do you think? Sound off in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on the Baltimore Ravens, Kansas City Chiefs, week 1. Anything I'm looking forward to that you're looking forward to for the season, sound off down below. Make sure you stick that like button. Helps us out tremendously in the algorithm. We need the algorithm to love us. So it helps us out when you do that. It costs you nothing. It lets YouTube know, hey, I like the Flex Zone podcast. I want other people to know about the Flex Zone podcast. Suggest it to them so they can be a part of the Flex Zone family as well. I got the Ravens falling short on the opening game, 20-17. But I think the Ravens and Chiefs probably will see each other again. It's inevitable in January with bigger stakes on the line. But those are my week 1 picks. Those are things I'm looking forward to. Those are my keys to the game. Those are my injury report. The Ravens are predominantly healthy. Let's keep it that way. And what say you, Flex Zone family? And what are you looking forward to seeing? Football is back. We're less than 24 hours just about away from kickoff. 8:20 Peacock NBC. It'll be a great weekend of football. We got football Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday. The NFL doing what they do best, as the NFL is king, and we're kings here on the Flex Zone Podcast because it's the only place giving you that Ravens coverage how you want it when you need it. God's favorite host signing off. Week 1 preview in the books. We'll be live for the post-game show on Thursday night. Hit that bell for all notifications to know when we're live. Let me know all your questions, comments, and concerns down below. Keys to the game and breakout performances as well. I'm getting out of here, putting the kids to bed. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you Thursday for the post-game show, Ravens Chiefs. Let's see what happens as the NFL season is underway. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.